Okay, so in the last video, we talked about all of the traps, pitfalls, and the effects that come with alcoholism. The quote-unquote incurable alcoholism. And this means it can't be treated from the outside. You got to treat it from the inside. And hey, where the medical side may fall back and drop their hands, the spiritual side could definitely step in. Which is to say the psychological side, the thinking side. You know, I don't want to make this sound all holier than thou and all of that. And I'm not saying that you can't drink. I'm not saying that alcohol is the devil. Nah, I'm not screaming none of that. I want to put this in perspective though, and tackle the spirits of alcohol. So the first one we was talking about was mockery. This one comes with a lot of wine and a lot of giddiness. So here's the quick cure for that. Don't mock. Because mocking is a reaping like you sow thing too. If you mock others, you'll end up attracting a situation where you'll end up being mocked. If you make fun of people, you'll end up attracting a situation where you making fun of people. Even if you're not in your right mind when you're making fun of people. Even if you're just feeling a little happy, a little loose, a little comfortable while you're making fun of people, you'll still attract that situation, because no matter what sensations you feel in your body, lightness of feet, numbness of body, you still have the mental responsibility of making sound decisions. So it doesn't exempt you from that. So don't mock. If people do come up in your mind, brag about them. Brag about them. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't do this with a sober mind, which is a whole nother issue for another video, on giving people their flowers while they're alive, and just giving people compliments and just letting people know that they're important, letting people know that they matter, letting them know that they're the first and last them that they'll ever be. You know what I mean? Somebody got to be told that every now and then. And in the midst of merrymaking, in the midst of your drinks, in the midst of your parties, give somebody some love. Give somebody a shout out. You know, you see it sometimes in parties where sometimes that gets a little, you know what I mean? Not excessive, but you'll see it. I love you, man. I love you. I love you. With a couple of F-bombs up, love you, man. Same with sisters, you know what I mean? Leaning on each other, you know what I mean? They're ready to fall over. Yeah, it happens. You know, folks start crying. Oh, man, you was there for me when nobody else was. It happens. It happens. That's the better way to go, though, rather than to mock, rather than to say, man, who she thinks she is, and this person is this, and that person is that. And next thing you know, without you knowing it, or maybe not even remembering, you done ragged on everybody. You done talked down about everybody. You done threw everybody under any bus that you could find. You even threw the bus under another bus because you had something against the driver of the bus. Yeah, turning everybody into a speed bump. That's what mockery does. And next thing you know, you the one laying in the road for other people to run you over. You the one laying in the path for other people to make fun of. So that takes care of mocking. Another one is, I want to jump right to this one because this is the one. This is the one. Warfare. Warfare. My goodness. Listen, everybody's been through something. Everybody's been under some kind of attack. Everybody's been under some kind of abuse. Everybody's been under some kind of mistreatment, maybe not chronic, but we have experienced it before. And at the end of the day, some of us just have to stop fighting. Stop fighting. Just take fighting out of your vocabulary. Everything is a war. Everything's a battle, a test, a trial. Oh, put your dukes up. We got a war. We got a battle. This person, you know, these are the people that, when they say, I wish somebody would, these folks be really wishing that somebody would, because they don't feel right outside of combat because they're so combative. And alcoholism just exasperates that. So now, instead of just being a regular soldier for the cause, they got to go ahead and be Napoleon. They got to be Napoleon Bonaparte. They got to be Alexander the Great. Now they got to be Genghis Khan. Now they want to conquer everybody. These be the ones. And it don't stop. It'll spill right over into like later on in life. You ever seen it? I've seen it. Folks ain't in the prime of their life no more, but they still macho. They still looking for a fight all the time. Still looking for a beef. Still looking at everything that's wrong with the world. Stop fighting. If you got challenges, look at them like challenges. stumbling blocks becoming stepping stones. Everything is not a doggone target. Everything is not the enemy. Everybody is not fighting against you. Nah, man. Stop that. No more war. No more fight. When challenges come, challenges come. When difficulties come, difficulties come. Let those be what they are. But it don't mean that something somewhere is putting their dukes up against you. And this comes out of the religious community a lot. A lot of saints, they go this route. They get bitter and they have so much confrontational bite with them when their very own scripture says, give no place to anger. Don't even let the sun go down on your wrath. I don't care if you're mad at 7:29. The sun go down at 7:30. You got about 60 seconds to get over that. Because if it carries over to the next day and you wake up mad and then throw another drink on top of that, forget about it. At the very least, you're going to be alone. I hope you got some kids that love you, because nobody's going to want to be a companion to you. And your friends list is going to be shorter than those who don't want to have a whole bunch of friends around. Your list going to be short. You ever seen this? They be making their family members their best friends. My best friend is my cousin. My bestie in the whole world. Who's that? My aunt. My best friend, man. This is my bestie right here. We've been rolling. Who's this? My uncle. You know, they ain't got no friends because they're so confrontational and so abrasive that they just push everybody and everything away. That's how dangerous that one is. Because remember the context. If you a mad person and you mad at life and you frustrated and that alcohol exasperates that, you ain't going into war. You ain't in the trenches of Afghanistan. You ain't getting ready to storm the beaches of Normandy. And you need a fifth of Yukon Jack because you just seen 25 of your people mowed down, and you know, like, look, if I don't go, we over here, I don't run up there, I might fall to enemy fire. I might fall to friendly fire rather. You know what I mean? My boy might shoot me in the back thinking that I'm running, expecting me to run. So really, war, if it's not for the sake of just changing yourself, it doesn't benefit. It doesn't benefit. That angry, cantankerous spirit that's not the way to go. It's really not the way to go. So we covered mockery. These are the spirits you conquer, right? The alcohol, we'll leave that up to the professionals in regards to how to stay away from it and how to be, you know what I mean? All of that. We still need to let the professionals do what they do. We're just offering scriptural information based on what the professions may not include in the treating of alcoholism. Let go of the mocking, let go of the fighting. Here's another one that's very important. This is the other one. Mockery's light, but warfare and depression. Depression is a big one. That's more of getting over it. Got to get over it, because there's two ways to not get over it. You can either not get over it by trying to fight the world. You're like, man, F the world. You ain't got over it. You too confrontational. Or, man, it ain't even worth me trying. I ain't going to get out of bed this month, man. I just had it. I'm through, man. No, let it go. You still got to let it go, whether you trying to fight the world or whether you too depressed to even face the world. You still got to let go of whatever is holding you back or throwing you out there rashly. It's like, well, is depression so cut and dry as that? Sure it is. Ain't nobody depressed for nothing. Not for nothing. Something had to depress you. Something had to press you for you to be depressed. Look, I don't know nobody that has ever been depressed for nothing. Like, you just depressed? Yeah, I'm just depressed. Ain't nothing wrong. I never been through nothing. There's no problems. All the money in the bank, all the bills paid. The cops ain't looking for me, nothing. But I'm still depressed. I'm happy, though. I got all the money in the world, all the leverage in the world. I can do what I want, where I want, with who I want, but I'm depressed. Nah, that don't happen. That don't happen. When people are depressed who we feel like have all those things, believe me, there's something that they're not happy about that's got them depressed. They might have all of that, but they can't keep their spouse at home. They might have all of that, but they might not even be able to attract a spouse. They might have all that and might be attracting all the potential spouses in the world, but got trust issues. Many things can depress you. But it's the same solution that goes with handling your anger. You got to let it go. And let me give more respect to the whole idea of letting it go, of letting go. That deserves, let me put some more respect on letting go. Because it's not enough just to say, I'm going to drop this thought if you're not going to replace it with something. Yeah. This is the essence of relapse. Lack of substitution. You on the court. You got 5 players on the court. One of your players gets hurt. Now you go back out there on the floor with 4? You can't. You got to make a substitution or you're going to be undermanned. And a lot of times when we take falls and take hits, we don't make substitutions. We just go right. We just work with whoever's left. We ain't trying to learn nothing new. We ain't trying to listen to nobody new. We just going to go with the same players that's out there, even though everybody on the team hurt. We ain't going to draft nothing. We just going, as the league goes on, we going to allow all our players to be in their 30s, and we ain't going to draft no young talent. We ain't going to protect this franchise because we ain't willing to do any substitutions. You got to make substitutions because we all get hurt. Sometimes you got to just substitute spirits. You got to drop the idea that everybody hating on you. Maybe you got to drop the idea that you hate everybody else. Maybe you got to drop the idea that these people did you wrong. Maybe you got to drop the idea that every time you went into such and such scenario that people was always there to try to stop you. Maybe you got to let that go. You might have to make a substitution with, yeah, just because things have always been one way that's negative don't mean at any moment things can't turn around for the positive. Happens every day. People make their lives over every day. You got to substitute that thought. Like, okay, all right, I'm mad at the world. Well, maybe I just need to get me a heavy bag and a speed bag to hit and see how good I feel after I let all my anger out. Maybe I need to invest in going somewhere where they got a rage room where I can break some equipment and smash some equipment. Maybe then I'll get over it. If I'm depressed, maybe I need to try to watch some comedies. Maybe I do need to take a sip and just forget about it and let it go and refresh with a hot shower in the morning. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta make substitutions, and relapse happens when you don't make substitutions. When you be like, okay, I'm not gonna be mad anymore, but you're not replacing it with any happiness. Like, okay, I'm not depressed right now, but you're not replacing it with any motivation or any inspiration or any envisioning of a better life. You just gonna let the offense go. Like, all right, I won't be mad anymore. No, it ain't enough not to be mad no more. You gonna get mad again if you don't replace mad with happy. Oh, I'm going to drop depressed. I ain't going to be depressed no more. Well, if you ain't full of joy, if you don't have hope, you're going to fall right back into depression because you ain't substituted it out with nothing. You didn't make any swaps. This is how deep alcoholism goes. This is us just talking about the spirits that are involved in alcohol itself. We ain't even talking about anything about the body. The medical field got that covered. They can tell you what happens to the body. So I'm not on a high horse about that, but I will say this on an even more controversial level. There's a lot of dispensaries opening up, and there's a lot of folks, quote unquote, that have left their drinks behind for that medical card, because a lot of them turned out to have PTSD and they were treating it with alcohol. But when they went to the doctor, they got prescribed medical cannabis, which, okay, you can say what you want about whether it's more harmful or less harmful. I'm not here to touch on that. But I am here to say that, yeah, a lot of people that had this incurable thing known as alcoholism, a lot of them got cured on the low. But that's never going to make the news because something like that is so personal. I mean, for crying out loud, the flask is for you to hide the drink where your heart at. Under your jacket. It's a flask. You putting it near your chest. So there's outlets, but the real heavy work is something spiritual that don't have anything to do with drinks, though. And that's the part that you want to make sure that you tackle the mockery, the anger, and the depression. If you could keep that dark trinity, that unholy trinity of energies up off you, you won't be susceptible to the alcoholic spirits. You more than likely won't find yourself necessarily craving alcohol at all. And even if you have a drink, you're going to be under control. You're going to know your limit. And your goal is not going to be to drink yourself out to alter yourself. You're just going to pop a little shot or take a little sip or a little swig. But again, that's alcoholism in a nutshell. Took 2 videos, one explaining the problem, the other giving you the solution. We about solutions. Super T Sigma. Stay resolved.